of the most important elements of negotiations, peace building and conflict resolution is active listening and accepting the diversity. So today we are going to talk about these main themes. Active listening means, as its name suggests, is listening carefully and actively. This is fully demonstrating concentration on what is being said rather than just passively hearing the message of the speaker. Active listening involves speaking with all of your senses using verbal and non-verbal communications. As well as giving full attention to the speaker, it's important that the listener, active listener, is also present in the listening process. Otherwise, the speaker might conclude that whatever they have said is not so much interesting to the listener. Listening is the most fundamental component of interpersonal communication skills. Listening is not something that just happens, that is hearing. Listening is an active and ongoing process, which is a conscious decision that is made to listen to and understand the message of the speaker. Listeners should always remain neutral and non-judgmental, and this is meaning that the listener should try not to take sides or form opinions, especially in the beginning of the conversations. Active listening is also about patience, and pauses and short periods of silence should be accepted. Listeners should not be tempted to jump up and give questions or give comments every time there is a few seconds of silence by the speaker. Active listening not only means focusing fully on the speaker, but also actively showing verbal and non-verbal signs of listening. Generally, speakers want listeners to demonstrate active listening by responding to their needs and to what they are saying. Active listening can be both verbal and non-verbal. People who are listening are more likely to display at least some or other signs of non-verbal communication. But not all of these signs can be appropriate in all of the situation, in all of the cultures. So it depends from culture to culture, and it needs to be culturally appropriate. For instance, smiling. Small smiles can be used to show that the listener is paying attention to what is being said, or as in a way of agreeing on being glad about the message being received. The next one is eye contact. It's normal and usual encouraging for the listener to look at the speaker and to encourage him or her to speak. But eye contact can also be sometimes intimidating, especially for more shy speakers who doesn't want to keep all the time eye contact on somebody. Another one is posture, which is about the way you are standing in front of your listener and try to lean towards a little bit and show your respect and understanding of what the person is speaking about. The next one is mirroring. It's automatic reflection of any facial expression used by the speaker. Can be a sign of attentive listening. These reflective expressions can help you to show the empathy and sympathy in more emotional situations. Attempting to consciously mimic facial expressions can be a sign of inattention. Distraction is another part of the nonverbal communication. Verbal signs of active listening is giving feedback, which gives comment on the words of speaker. By just saying yes or good or great to the speaking person can be sometimes very irritating. Therefore, it's important to give more comprehensive remarks and feedbacks on why you are agreeing on the certain things that speaker is talking about. Another verbal communication skills can be remembering things. As all human mind is not really able to remember every detail, it's really important to take some time to remember some important details and elements from the speaker's note and speech. For instance, remembering the name of the speaker can help to reinforce that the message sent have been received and understood. Another method of being an active listener is giving questions. Listener can demonstrate that they have been paying attention by asking relevant questions and making statements to clarify what speaker has said before. By asking relevant questions, the listener also helps to reinforce that they have an interest in what the speaker has been talking about. And the reflection is another type of verbal communication skills. reflecting is closely repeating or paraphrasing what the speaker has said in order to show your view and your feedback on the speaker's notes. The clarification involves asking questions of speaker to ensure that correct messages have been received, because you may not know everything the speaker is talking about, so it's really important to clarify certain points and elements if necessary. And the final one is summarizing, and a summary of what has been said back to the speaker is a technique used by the listener to repeat what has been said by his own words. Summarizing involves taking the main point of the received message and formulating them in a very logical and clear way, giving the speaker a chance to correct if necessary. So active listening is really important element in conflict resolution and negotiations. Usually parties involved in conflict avoid listening to each other's needs, the needs, interests and positions of the other side. Therefore, it's necessary to take into account active listening in accepting the viewpoint of people from different backgrounds. This also directly reflects on diversity and tolerance. So what is diversity? Diversity is a reality created by individuals and groups from a broad spectrum of demographics and philosophical differences. It's very important to support and protect diversity, because by valuing different individuals and groups free from any kind of discrimination, prejudice, creates mutual respect and understanding. So, diversity also means tolerating the differences. It's a sense of conscious practices that involve the understanding and appreciating interdependence of humanity, different cultures, environments, and practicing mutual respect for the qualities and experiences that are different form our own understanding of the diversity. And this understanding includes not only way of being, but also the way of knowing what's happening. Recognizing these differences in personal stories, cultural and institutional stories creates anti-discrimination, or on the other hand can create discrimination if we can't tolerate these differences. So building allies across differences so that we can work together to eradicate all forms of violence and discrimination. Understanding and accepting diversity leads to tolerance and eliminates us versus them belief and violence, aggression and discrimination affiliated with it. Thank you very much for watching.